Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, we're back, everybody. Welcome once again to Brewing Video Podcast episode number, what did I say? 36?
Was it 36?
36.
Okay. 35 was,
35 was the crazy one that didn't go so well.
No, we couldn't hear it.
It was difficult. I mean, yeah, we couldn't hear each other.
Yeah.
But on review, you could hear, the audience could hear, but I didn't know, and it was crazy. It's crazy. Actually, maybe I'll just keep this on my lap so we can change cameras as we go.
Perfect. Well, so what's happening there?
Buddy? Oh, this looks terrible.
We got some live stream going on here.
I got to put this here.
No worries.
Yeah,
I can hold my phone.
Or just rest it gently.
Perfect. As long as we're not hitting buttons, we'll be good.
Hello, Beverly.
Here it is, Wednesday. Video podcast.
Wednesday, Dumb Luck Video Podcast number 36. Look, great, rolling on up. Boom.
Remember we said we actually weren't going to drink beer, but then I think we changed our mind because we got class coming actually pretty quick.
Yeah, coming up pretty quick, so we're going to make this a fairly quick episode because, man, busy days. But we do want to hit up class. Get that no-gi action in.
Yeah, tonight's a special night. We got no-gi.
No-gi.
For you that don't do the jiu-jitsu, it's basically you're not wearing the freaking pajamas.
Yeah, no pajamas.
You're wearing the Superman spandex.
It's a little more wrestling, a little less jiu-jitsu, but it's still all jiu-jitsu.
Grabbing collars and stuff. And
yeah, like it's a little less traditional jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I went up north, obviously, to a wedding, obviously. And several...
Like you had a good time?
Yeah, it was a great time. Woo, fun. Several of my cousins have trained in traditional jiu-jitsu, which I realized I didn't know a lot about.
Yeah?
I really didn't. I was, like, talking to one of their moms who was actually composing a song to sing to her son at the wedding, which was pretty cool. And in that... I wanted to change cameras.
No worries.
Just
wanted to check the audio, make sure we're good.
And in that moment, she was talking about, she said, doing jiu-jitsu. I'm like, oh, really? Well, what kind of jiu-jitsu, or what was the, what belt or whatever? I can't remember what I asked her, but we were talking about it. And she's describing him doing these, like, weapon drills and, like, contact sparring and stuff that sounded... a lot like more traditional martial arts, of course, right? But like Taekwondo kind of style stuff, like in my experience, right? And I was like, oh, really? Oh, wow. It's like it seems very different or whatever. And initially, I was like unsure, but they just kept describing it, and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. Like what they were doing was Japanese jiu-jitsu, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting, and I felt really inadequate that I didn't know enough about traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu.
I know, from what I've heard, it's like, okay, maybe have a little more striking based, and is there more throwing in it? Like, I don't know too much about it.
There's a lot of stand-up throws. There's a lot of weapon techniques, disarms and stuff like that. It's
are we talking samurai day stuff kind of?
Samurai day stuff, like real classic traditional. So I started doing a little bit of research. Hey, Bale, welcome to the podcast. Looks like it was designed for battlefield use when you lose your sword, right?
Okay.
And that's where kind of Aikido came from, being
disarming
focus purely on disarming techniques, on open-handed defense against weapons.
All right, shout out to Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Oh man,
I was gonna say Under Fire, but that's not one of his movies.
It could be something like that.
Yeah.
Just add like
that's
a weird prefix of
yeah.
Blood Beyond or something like that.
Under Siege was one of his movies. Anyway, so it has that, and then it branched the other half to judo, which is like just the grappling aspects of Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Which we did a little bit of judo. We had Grandmaster come in. I forgot his name. The old gentleman that basically showed up at her.
And just coming out to watch.
That guy was awesome.
Welcome, Amanda.
And like a lot of the techniques are very different, but also you can see. I don't know. I guess they're traditional, but you see how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has evolved from that, like with the throws and the grabs, and basically different techniques, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like from like every martial art needs to evolve.
Yeah,
it needs to evolve to suit what people of the time require. I mean, hang on to the traditional sense of inner self and focus and conditioning and all this, right? Like where you do need to. There is a very mental aspect to a martial art as opposed to just a pure fighting art. Gets maybe a little bit more culty.
Yeah,
right? But
it's kind of where you get like I find with some martial arts, like obviously. Just from watching them online or people talking about them.
He was older than Bill. Yeah.
I was watching a program with with Stefan Kesting, and he's a black belt jiu-jitsu guy. Actually, I think he's a local guy here, and he has a big channel where he does self-defense.
Victoria, right?
And I think he's here.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Probably in maybe Burnaby or Vancouver or something like that.
Yeah.
And he kind of talked about where he did many martial arts over like 30 years, where he did. The Kung Fu and Tai Chi and all these sorts of different things. And he was kind of going through discussing about, there was so many moves that you had to learn. And basically every day that you went to the class is like, okay, now you have, we're on number 12 move of 55 moves that you have to do for this section, which I don't know, was your experience with
Taekwondo?
Taekwondo was similar to that, or?
Sun Hang Do more.
Sun Hang Do is more of the traditional kind of style, I guess?
Oh, very much so, yeah. My experience with Taekwondo was my instructor was very progressive, and he was always looking for what people were looking for next. Like, that was way back in, like, the 90s. He started teaching MMA, like, as soon as it became anything. UFC was still in the single digits. And he started teaching MMA classes. Like, no one knew what an MMA class was, but he's just like, I need to start teaching this.
Because I guess he saw, he was kind of looking towards the future, right?
Yeah, that's what his dad always taught him, and that's what his dad did. He transformed Taekwondo into what he called Taekwondo, but it never really caught on.
It wasn't like one of those little snacks you get at the Mexican restaurant, was it?
It would have been very tasty if they got one.
They sell them at 7-Eleven too. They're pretty good.
Yeah, that's where I usually get them.
Actually, I'm lying. I've never tried one. This looks disgusting.
I have.
Okay, review on taquitos.
The Amanda, congratulations on the writing award. Number 1.
Uno uno.
The sidetrack. Okay, the traditional martial arts stylings and stuff like that. Like you said, or you're asking, my experience was that in Sun Hang Do, I definitely saw that a lot more, and they did absolutely no live drilling, none. They did point sparring, which was more like dance around and try to touch each other's head.
Yeah. Right,
and. Yeah, there was a bit of a live sense to that, but you knew as soon as stop,
that's it.
Stop, and sometimes that is your gateway into a win. Like oh, you got that arm through, grabbing, tossing, throwing, whatever it was. Like,
but
that ferocity and that intensity doesn't exist.
But if you do that, basically it's over. That
you
basically
stop, reset.
Stop.
Yeah.
So basically, your standard point sparring, which is kind of. You look at it, and it's like, oh, cool, you hit him once, but okay.
You can go for those suicide strikes, right? Yeah. It really encourages sloppy technique. Really, really encourages sloppy technique when you do that kind of stuff. To me, anyways, in my experience. I'm by no means a point sparring expert, but I couldn't get the hang of it. I sucked at it so bad. I just couldn't imagine overextending myself so far to keep my body away from getting touched, so that I can touch someone else with my fingertips,
Yeah, because what's
like you
hit
play
someone like either you're overextending just to you can't reach me, but I hit you with my fingers. So there we go.
We do that drill, especially in no-gi. We do the drill, the slap the legs,
the knees, and,
drill,
and
right?
stuff like that.
And that can be, you can see some people like start to like goof a bit, and do these like crazy suicide dives or these rolls to the side or whatever, which are completely impractical, will never be useful. But it's fun.
I found it entertaining. Basically, what we're talking about is basically you have a partner or whatever, and basically you're just in your like a grappling position where you're trying to hit the person's knee or the shoulder or whatever. I think it was just shoulders or knees, and basically without them doing it. So you're kind of it teaches you. I found it like just from the first time doing it. It teaches you distance and how to move in and out, right? So you're kind of in the striking range. In and out of striking range, right? So basically, you're kind of either in striking range or out of striking range, but you're not deep in striking, right?
Yeah, it's trying to teach you that, and sometimes it's very intimidating to shoot for a leg. Like you see the arms and everything in the way, and like the idea that you could get there, it seems impossible. Yeah, and that sort of helps you through it. But like, imagine that sort of thing is your only exposure to live sparring. Yeah, and that's kind of what point sparring is like. Where you get used to this pace, this ability to cheat, right? Just like us, if we got into an MMA fight right now, we wouldn't be used to getting punched. No. We wouldn't understand how to deal with that, right? It would be like, whoa, 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 right? But I think still that the live drilling we do, because of the intensity, the length, the duration of the drills, right, and that sort of mono sense to it, is head and shoulders above what I see in point sparring or in sparring that or in drills that don't involve any live action, like that fire that you need, that intensity you feel when you're squared off against somebody and you know there's 5 minutes or whatnot that it's just on, you know? Yeah,
well, it's kind of cool, like, when you actually take when you say live sparring, sometimes when you spar in class, you know, depending on your partner or whatever, you're either going, you know, fairly light, depending on how your day was. You're like, okay, I ain't going insane, right? I ain't going insane today. I'm just playing it safe. I'm working on my moves, this and that, kind of controlling the person, right? But then every once in a while you get a partner where you're like, okay, I'm turning it up a bit because... You know, this guy likes to turn it up a bit, and then you're actually really going at it. And where people, like when you talk about point sparring or going through techniques and no live drilling where you actually don't get to try that, to go, man, what's it like having a forearm crushed in your face, and you're like, okay, I got to get the hell out of here.
People are thinking, oh, I can use a pressure point. If that situation, you got my neck and stuff, I'm just going to press up into your ribs.
And then you're like, let go.
Your attacker will be,
let go.
That tickles. Right? Like, you cannot take for granted that will work. You've got to try it, drill it. Hey, that might work if I take these two knuckles and hammer them under your rib cage. Yeah, okay,
that
right?
might work.
But like, you don't know that until you try that.
And the thing is, I've heard of jiu-jitsu styles where also I don't know if it's an older style where they add like, you know, pressure points.
I see an electrician.
Like this. Like pressure points and stuff like that, right? Which, how often is someone actually going to be able to, that's moving, going to be able to get a pressure point on you? Like I remember people talk about like the one behind the ear, the one in the cheekbone,
because it kind of hurts when you press it, right?
If someone does that, like you're
just like, fucking annoying.
Get out of here! And the same thing goes with like, okay,
you're not going to cause someone's heart to explode.
If you're in the bottom and someone's got you mounted, and then they're going for, like, that's not going to do anything. Smack that away. And, you know, same like what they talk about when you start going into, oh well, you know, I don't really need to train live training because I'm just going to gouge the eye. Which is like a really tough thing to do.
Like, you see that on YouTube comments all the time. Like, oh, if someone came at me like that, I would just be hammer 3 or 4 pressure points. They'd be unconscious, so they'd be like down. Like they couldn't do that. You leave yourself too open. It's like, these are people you know have never live sparred, right? like even if I'm on top of somebody and I'm just about to start cranking on their neck,
Yeah.
they can drill my funny bone all they want.
Oh, yeah.
You know that sucks. That doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to hit. But if they manage to,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to double down.
Yeah.
I'm going to start dropping elbows on your nose like this.
I always love that one where Boss Rutan was on Joe Rogan podcast and he's talking about this one woman that's like, oh no, if we got in that position, we would just poke you in the eye.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. So if someone's got a dominant position on you, and you're gonna go for a ball grab or an eye poke, you just escalate that fight from 5 to 10, and they're like, listen to other people as well online.
Now you cost me an eye.
Yeah.
Now
you're going
to
for my
die.
eye? Okay. Yeah. What's a stronger position? A person where you're mounted on, and they're going to try to poke you in the eye, or you mounted on going, I can poke you in the eye as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed. Now I can gouge you, and now you can't see, and you're on the bottom, and you're
exactly. There's no winning in that situation for anyone that's going for eye gouging or whatnot. Like, yeah, I guess if you have a plan of escape, like maybe I crushed the eye, but I needed it so that they would release pressure from here so I can hip out and get out and run away. But you know what? They're counting on this being everything they need. Like it's like,
yeah, you can't.
You're lending undue credence to poor advice,
which we've seen on like these so-called self-defense videos, like which we talked on previous programs.
Bye, Amanda. Hope to see you soon.
Previous programs where we talked about the self-defense of, oh, you should just do this or that, or go for the groin strike or this or that, and then all of a sudden it just works for them.
Yeah.
Like you guys are demonstrating this. Okay, that's actually not going to happen, right? Yeah. Which comes down to live drilling. Mm-hmm. Live drilling is only.
It's the best teacher. It's scary. It's intimidating. It's uncomfortable, but it is utterly important. Like, also, I was watching because I was researching this Japanese jiu-jitsu, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw so many comments on these, like, Brazilian jiu-jitsu versus Japanese jiu-jitsu competition,
like
stuff
video,
like that.
YouTube videos and stuff. Yeah, I watched a few of those.
And the Japanese jiu-jitsu guys are doing great. There's like absolutely no diss to how they were handling their themselves on the mats, right? But what occurred was the commenters were like, "I see no traditional jiu-jitsu in this, right? This is all just wrestling, right? Like this is I don't see any proper stand-up throws. I don't see any of this. It's like
traditional
from traditional jiu-jitsu practitioners, right?" Mm-hmm. And I'm just like sitting there going like, wow, like these guys have gone so long without sparring.
Yeah.
Right? There is a distinct advantage to someone like a traditional jiu-jitsu player or a judo player against a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter when it comes to the stand-up. Mm-hmm. Incredibly. Their technique, their ability is way stronger in the stand-up fight because they drill it so much more, so much harder.
But
right?
then also in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's not their game.
Exactly.
Right? You might, like, we will go back to early Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, where they're fighting the guys in their dojo. Is that what we got?
Yeah.
In the dojo. And basically, their main thing is for a faraway strike, like a leg strike or whatever, to initiate the takedown. And that's all it is, right? So, like, you can work on your stand-up as long as you want. And, like, not to say, like, let's say, like, for myself, if all of a sudden, you know, in a fight with a striker, like, I'm gonna be pretty worried about clearing that distance to get to that person, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's always something to be said for having multiple skills in different areas.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So you can't just focus on one thing all the time, right?
I think in every school, like any other schools, I'm sure Japanese jiu-jitsu is taught differently everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? But if a very traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu school, I hate saying Japanese jiu-jitsu because it's just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But because we're saying Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu, like, it can be confusing if you just say jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? But the schools that are very traditional,
Hey,
if they,
dear old dad.
it's dear old dad. If they at least apply one day a week, maybe Fridays or whatever, to live rolling, I think that would benefit that style incredibly. And that's again what we're talking about, evolving it. Traditionally, there is none.
Yeah.
But it's all about evolving.
No, like you said, basically, it came from, a lot of martial arts. I feel were maybe deadlier back in the day, and they kind of miled it down to where it's more of a, what do you call it? Like a meditation, a form, a calming yourself. Where you start getting into yoga, basically, right? Basically, yoga's the
more consumable.
Yeah, more consumable.
More accessible
to calm yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas you also want things to evolve to maybe a more defensive, depending on whatever you're going for, right?
Yeah. I also wonder if maybe it was traditionally taught this way because it was being taught to warriors, to people who fought for a living.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is just part of my day, I'm just learning some techniques for when I lose my sword, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go and fight these guys
With
for a
the sword.
couple hours, hand to hand, like straight up, right? Like they're going to do, they're basically, mixed martial artists. They're diversifying what they learned, right? So, but the Aikido and the Judo and the Jiu-Jitsu part was all taught separately from that, right? And the same with Judo, like they do live sparring, but they do it to take down, right? The takedown, submission, boom, boom, boom. That's instantly. You take person down, you submit them instantly, right? If you don't submit them within 15 seconds, I think you're allowed to roll before they stand you back up again.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's all about that kind of action. Yeah. So, hey, evolution. Sports must evolve.
What you see Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu kind of evolving, where it's originally started, kind of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu defense and that, and you kind of see it with people getting mad at sports Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, sports
right,
Jiu-Jitsu.
where the old style Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu looks at that and goes, "Well, that's not kind of correct or whatever."
Yeah.
But it's evolving the sport as in making it more applicable and sprouting out into different areas. Because if you know how to roll here and you can do it more frequently in tournaments and whatever else, the chances are you're going to be good at it dealing in a self-defense situation. Right?
I gotta be a little biased in my opinion on this because of my own experience, but I believe striking is easier to learn. Like, not that it means I could spend a week and become a boxer. No, that's a lifetime of training to learn how to box properly.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if I already know how to tie you up, I can learn how to deliver effective strikes from these tight positions or close the gap, boom, 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 come in tight, rather quickly, right? Maybe not at an expert level, but fairly quickly. Whereas the grappling and the rolling part on the ground is very tricky, at least in my experience. It's been way harder to learn than the punching and kicking aspect that I did before. It's like, there's a lot more to it.
You kind of got to learn it all,
Welcome, Mindy. Oh, and Monica wants to know what we're drinking. Well, we better do that, otherwise we'll be breaking tradition here.
We're rocking the Alexander Keys here today.
As in the case, I got them Steamworks IPA. Whoop. Nothing too special, nothing too out of the box today.
No, we're waiting for this to get all finished here, and then we'll be able to drink some stuff. So.
This bad boy here, in the testing phases, will soon be producing mass quantities for us.
Where is it? Where is it?
Oh, what are we looking for?
I was looking for the big... There
we go. Yeah.
Look at that.
See, the kettles are all off right now. We're working on the burners, getting everything sorted. Oh, yeah.
Then we'll be drinking.
Then we'll be drinking like maniacs, I tell you. Keep an ear to the ground. Keep clued in here.
Yeah.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram, yeah, you'll find out what exactly.
Instagram, yeah, we'll update more readily, I think, along the way as we go, where we have been anyway.
Yeah. It's busy time. It's summertime. Everyone's doing stuff. We're going places.
Nate Dogg, where's Nate Dogg? Is he in the show? I didn't see him logging. What are you gonna name your first brew? The first beer, I'm not sure. We're gonna. I think
you're
it's gotta.
discussing that while you're making it and what you feel.
Yeah, exactly. If it's an asshole to me and it doesn't work out very well,
we'll call it shit brew.
That's right. It might be asshole ale. Who knows, right?
Okay.
Like we'll figure it out.
I like that one.
Yeah, I kind of like
vulgar.
That too. So vulgar and
copyright that one.
People like it. It's provocative.
Yeah.
You know.
We can maybe name one like a jiu-jitsu move or something.
I think so. Yeah. The rear naked
heel hook Hefeweizen.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh.
There we go.
Now we're going. Now we're cooking.
We're cooking with gas, literally. Yes, Malcolm joining the scene.
He's walking around here. Hey, buddy. You guys even see him?
Nate is laughing at the Keiths. I don't know why. You don't like beer?
What? Keiths is a good
I'm listening,
Nova Scotia.
bro.
It's from Nova Scotia.
Angry beer. When will you have another guest? I was just thinking about that today.
Yeah, we got.
I'd like to. Well, we've been having a lot of issues with our broadcast setup.
And we do all waste people's time.
Yeah, it wasn't really happening, but I think we've got things kind of at least in a semi-good place right now.
Like clockwork.
So, yep. So we could probably start looking at getting more guests on.
And we had a bunch of people actually were like, "Oh, they want to come on the show."
There's a lot of people that want to come on.
I don't know. We want to throw out some ideas, but
you can go for it.
If we want to talk about more jiu-jitsu, we can talk about some female jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, we wanted to get
female practitioners on here. We haven't decided who yet, and how many people we can fit in the shot. But that might be a.
Please
topic.
share with us, JC.
Yeah, if you guys have any more topics that you want, or people that you want,
yeah,
I guess we'll bring whoever out. But
yeah, exactly.
If you would like to be a guest on the podcast,
you want to be a guest, please comment below.
There you go.
Yeah, like Brian said,
we accept bribes.
We're
looking
beer.
At so there you go.
Putting a panel of ladies together, that would be fun.
Yeah,
get a lady perspective on jiu-jitsu.
Because there's definitely a lot of private seminars and stuff that go just for women. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to hear about what they learn there, what that community's like. Because obviously there's not as many women as men in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. That's kind of normal for any contact sport, I guess, right?
Yeah. He's normal.
He's normal.
He's normal. That's the joke maybe people won't get. Maybe someone will. That's good. You guys should bring Stacy back. Absolutely. Stacy's always welcome to come join us.
There we go.
Bring Seth Rogen on the show. Absolutely.
Well, he's working on the SkyTrain right now.
Right after Seth Rogen, we'll get Ryan Reynolds on.
So what do you think about that? Seth Rogen actually
stepping into
Pink Taco was actually on the SkyTrain and heard Seth Rogen's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got his voice already on Vancouver SkyTrain there. So. I got a dog licking me right now.
Can you hear the ding, 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 ding of his tail hitting the stand?
What's that? What's that? Oh, picture. There we go.
There we go.
Walking around.
Bronwyn, she brings cookies. This is true. Maybe she'll bring cookies and cupcakes and stuff. Their first impression trying our beer. Yeah, that would be great. That would be entertaining. Okay, you keep those comments going.
Yeah,
keep those comments going. They're epic. Yeah, we'll read them over later. And yes, Nate loves the single malts. Absolutely. Single malts. Actually, we should probably shut her down.
Yeah.
So we can go to class.
We got a quick one like we said today.
Unfortunately, only 45 minutes.
Action. Mm-hmm. Hope our partners don't mind us smelling like a
little bit like beer, but it's for a good cause.
Yeah, it's carbs, right? So it's a little energy.
Yeah.
But other than that, we got Saturday.
Saturday broadcast. Oh, I'll be on afternoon shift, so we'll have to do another split screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll try doing that. It worked okay the first time.
Yeah.
Q&A, right? So like,
we'll prepare a little better this time because now we know it works.
Yeah, now we know we can do it.
So
yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, follow us on Instagram. That's Stumluck Brewing on Instagram. On Facebook, obviously, we're right here.
There you go. Give us
a like. If
you're
not liking us, like us now. Make sure you hit that so you can get notifications when we go live and you don't miss a single show. Twitter, Dumb Luck Brewing on Twitter, and Reddit r/DumbLuckBrewing, which is in need of some love. So come on over there and show us appreciation. And leave us questions and whatnot. We'll try to gather from all these sources. Oh, and did I say Twitter?
Twitter.
Yes. Dumb Luck Brewing on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter too. Cool.
Cheers. Yeah, we're on the Twitters. Hey, this is Brian.
This is Paul.
And you're awesome.
Peace.
Thanks for joining.
Rock the music.
Ooh. And then this one.